I should tell you guys, next week there won't be a new episode of Dr. Stone. I'm taking Thanksgiving week off, which by the time this goes up, we're already past Thanksgiving, but I record these ahead of time, so essentially, no new Dr. Stone next week. We will be back in 2 weeks for episode 11. So that's pretty much that. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Dr. Stone. Last time around we had Let There Be the Light of Science, where, basically we got, what was his name? Gen Asagiri, who was a stoner who was reawoken by Tsukasa, and he was sent to check if Senku was still alive, and he told Senku as much, and basically was pretty much weighing his options, like which side does he want to join? The side that could potentially have girls, or the side that has science and, good food and stuff. So, and could probably also have hot girls, honestly. There's no reason why they can't. So yeah. And then at the end, throughout the episode, they were making magnets so that they could create a generator, and then at the end, they created an Edison bulb, and they lit up the whole area with the light of science. And it was awesome. So that's pretty much that. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Dr. Stone. Here we go. Okay, I will admit, I have completely underestimated Tsukasa's side, because look at the fucking thugs he has revived. Whew. But that's the thing. All he has is muscle. Muscle can get you far. It can get you dominance over the world, but then what? Of course, there's also the question, does Tsukasa believe Gen? But I don't know. I get the feeling that the grand bout is going to end up going where somehow Chrome defeats Magma, and then he gets to marry Ruri. I mean, that's how most people would write that. But is that how this show would write that? I guess that's a good question. So, that's the thing. It's like, Tsukasa is strong. He's strong, and he has awoken so many strong people. Of course, in all that, we didn't even see Taiju and Yuzuriha. We have no idea what they've been up to for a while. But yeah, it's just like he's strong. It is a strong side. But the thing is, they're really only slightly stronger and more knowledgeable than the primitive village. They're only a stronger version of the primitive village. They're not. There's no world that Tsukasa can create. There's just nothing. There's nothing he can do. He can wake up a lot of young people, but that's about it. And there is also the question of, what if one of those young people decides, I like what Tsukasa wants to do, but I want to be at the top. And what if a lot of people go over to that guy and think, maybe he should be at the top instead of Tsukasa? Like, Tsukasa's entire side is the flimsiest thing, because he's not, if anything, he is not about progress. And it's interesting, because you'd think he would be, because he's trying to, he's trying to get rid of the old guard, He doesn't want to bring the old guard back. He wants to have young people, reshape this world. But if they're just a bunch of meatheads, you're not reshaping it into anything, So that's the thing. It's like, it's not, it's nothing. this world you're creating is nothing. I mean, just look at what he has. Like, okay, they have some weapons, they have some bows and arrows. He has a chair in a cave. They got ramen. Senku's gonna make a Coca-Cola. It might even have the original recipe of cocaine. I guess I probably can't just look up the Coca-Cola recipe, because that's probably on fucking lockdown from Coca-Cola, but... Oh, hello. Well, Wikipedia has a page for the Coca-Cola formula. The Coca-Cola Company's formula for Coca-Cola syrup, which bottlers combine with carbonated water to create the company's flagship, blah, 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 1891. Alright, the current ingredients. The company protects the secrecy of its syrup recipe by shipping its ingredients to the syrup factories in the form of anonymous merchandises, numbered 1 through 9. Factory managers are told the relative proportions of each numbered merchandise and mixing procedure, but not the ingredients in the merchandise, some of which are themselves mixtures of the more basic ingredients. Merchandise, blah, 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 blah. To this day, Coca-Cola continues to depend on its namesake, spent coca leaves, as a major flavoring ingredient, which are devoid of any cocaine. The primary taste of Coca-Cola is thought to come from vanilla and cinnamon, with trace amounts of essential oils, coca leaves, and spices such as nutmeg. A 2014 study identified and measured 58 aroma compounds in the top 3 U.S. brands of cola, confirming significant amounts of compounds found in essential oils. Okay, yada, yada, yada. I wonder then if I can find RC Cola recipe. Because RC Cola... No, even RC Cola apparently keeps it secret. I mean, it makes sense that you would, but at the same time, who the fuck cares about RC Cola? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. There was one time, family and I think we were on a vacation, and we were somewhere, I don't even remember where, but we were in some backwater town. That's very harsh sounding, but we were just in this little town, went to get some lunch, and when the waiter came over and asked for drinks, I asked for a Coke, because I like Coke, and she said to me, "Is RC okay?" And I just kind of froze, because I didn't know what RC was at the time, and I was just like, I don't know, because normally when you say, "Can I have a Coca-Cola?" and then they start to say, "Is blank fine?" what you expect to hear is Pepsi. And I didn't hear that. And the thing is, I like Pepsi. I kind of prefer Pepsi over Coca-Cola, but I like both. And so when I heard that, is RC okay? And I just kind of looked around at my parents. I was just like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know if that's okay. I've never had an RC Cola. I've never heard of it. And so I think I ended up just getting maybe a Sprite or whatever their equivalent, or maybe they might have had a Dr. Pepper instead. I like Dr. Pepper too. Not as much as Dr. Pepper fans do. Have you ever met a Dr. Pepper fan? You'll know if you have, because they will tell you they are so annoying. But Pepsi and Coke fans don't care, But Dr. Pepper fans, they're fucking crazy. But anyway, so yeah. But yeah, apparently even RC, they hide the secret. So, I mean, it makes sense, because they don't want you reproducing it, but who the fuck cares about RC, It is interesting, too, because it's like, with Gen, it's like, he got the shit kicked out of him, Like, he would have died had he not had that pouch to protect him. And he was beaten up, like, real good. But then the fact that he was like, no, I need to stay with them, I need to stay on their side, I need to stay on their side. That is interesting. That is a very, very interesting, that even after that beating, he still says, if you can make me a Coke, I will go report that you're dead. So, He was, I mean, the thing is, he was already won over to the side of science, you know? So, he was already won over. He just needed the assurance. He needed to hear it from Senku that he could make him a Coke. So, and it's gonna have to be an ice cold Coke too. Like, how are we gonna do that? We're gonna have to build a refrigerator, folks. Get excited. It's like, oh my god. All right. I mean, it's gonna end up like Back to the Future Part 3, where Marty goes and finds Doc in 1885, and you know they go into the shed and there's just this huge fucking contraption, and it just plops down 2 ice cubes. You know, so yeah, refrigerator. That's how big it has to fucking be. So, fucking magma. Fucking it. I mean, he's just Gaston. He's just Gaston. You know, he wants to be chief of the village for some reason. I don't know, because he's a fucking toxic masculinity over here. Toxic masculinity, it never dies, unfortunately. As long as there are men, there is toxic masculinity, unfortunately. And as long as there are men, there are also horny men, because Ginro. I love too where he's just like, it's like, oh, so then Kohaku will have to marry her own sister. He just gets this vision in his head and it's just like, oh, this dude's a fucking freak. This dude would have been a fucking degenerate weeb in our time. Well, as much as toxic masculinity exists, degenerate weeaboos also exist, so. Not that they are born of the same thing. They just happen to both always exist, so. I want a Coke. I want a cola right now. A soda. A cola. How many people still say cola, specifically? Because, he just asked for a cola. He didn't ask for a Coca-Cola, specifically. Of course, that's also a good question of, like, how many people fully say Coca-Cola? You know? And how many people just say Coke? You know? It's like, just get a Coke. You know? I don't know. Maybe Senku can put in the cocaine at least. That'll help with Gen even more. So I don't know, but man, shit's so good. Shit's so good. I'm sad we're gonna take a week off, but that's all right. We'll be back in 2 weeks, like I said, and we'll have a good time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from Scimitar Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Dr. Stone reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.